All right. Good evening, everybody. It's June the 18th, and this is part two of my discussion with my friend Forrest Powell, who is a technician at Stomvi Trumpets and formerly an employee at Bob Reeves. And we just talked about valve alignment, and I was asking Forrest exactly how they measure valve alignments, and he said that that was also a trade secret. And so I'm sure it probably there are more people than yourself and Bob that do valve alignments now. There's quite a few people all over the country, I suppose. Do you suppose that different people have different techniques, or is it a similar kind of a technique that most people use?
Well, if you're
without giving away any trade secrets.
If you're mechanically inclined and intuitive, you can figure out how to measure what the valve alignment should be.
Mm-hmm. Right. So when you measure the valve alignments, they have to be at a certain tolerance. And can you tell me whether maybe just as do you have to measure both the downstroke and the upstroke?
Yeah.
So you can't just do one and consider the job done.
No.
Right.
An upstroke and a downstroke, and only there's 6 ports in each valve.
Right.
You can only do 2.
Right.
So there's inconsistencies in the manufacturing process.
Right.
Which is so hard to keep those tolerances when you're manufacturing. So that's why the valve alignments will be a little bit off, because they use a general pad size. And
right. Now, once you have the valve aligned, is that you'll never have to have it aligned again? You can spend the money knowing that. It
depends on how stable the pads are, and how hard you press down, and how much you play. So, I mean, there's some guys that can get a valve alignment and never need new pads. Right. So that's one of the things is I know Bob and us at Stomvi, we keep records so we can just send new pads out. And other guys, I'm not sure if they do that.
Nice.
So you can check around and. So I guess if you're looking for somebody to do a valve alignment, I would check out the pad material that they use and see if they keep records and can send you some pads.
Interesting. So what is the biggest comment that people make when they bring a trumpet to you, or why they want the valve alignment, and what is the biggest comment that they make when they try the trumpets after having a valve alignment?
It varies. I mean, it depends on how far out the horn is. Some people see really drastic results, and the reason they come in is because the horn maybe feels funny. You can do tests like playing open arpeggios and then play second valve arpeggio, first valve arpeggio, and then third valve arpeggio, and that will help you determine how even the blow is from valve to valve. Right. And so you want them to be pretty even.
Interesting. So
feel the same.
So besides different feeling of blowing the horn, sound-wise, it will also be more consistent.
Yeah, that's another thing to listen to when doing this test is the sound. Listen for the sound. If it's the colors in the sound change drastically, you may need a valve alignment. So if that maybe what usually happens is you lose a lot of highs and lows when the valve is misaligned.
Interesting. So, but as far as you know, Bob Reeves is just sort of, he's very mechanically obviously inclined. He's brilliant. Yeah. So you just think Bob kind of figured this out one day. He said, "Hey, I think I can do this better." I guess I'd bring him in.
So,
I have to bring him in and talk to him about that.
Yeah, he definitely thought it out and was the first person to really take a step in that direction and changed a lot of horns, and for the better. You can really bring a crappy horn back to life. Right.
Interesting.
Another thing that could also help is if the valve line is somewhat close, you can also change the way the horn plays and optimize it by changing the gap. That's another thing that Bob came up with. So changing the gap is adjusting the penetration of the mouthpiece, and the gap is the end of the lead pipe to the end of the mouthpiece. And when you adjust that,
okay, we're going to talk about that in our next video. Okay, so we're moving into a new area here, so we'll stop here, and part 3, conversations with Forrest Powell, we'll talk about the gap. Okay.